Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to have a look at another collaboration beer, and this one has tri-nationality, so I think it will be very interesting. The home brewery is from Finland, and this will be the first time they've been on the channel, and the two collaborative breweries, one of them's from Denmark. You've seen me review a number of beers from these guys before, and the other one is a German brewery who were on the channel once back in early 2019 if I remember correctly, but also a very highly rated brewery. So for the home side of things, as I say, we are going back to Finland, this time to a little place called Tuusula, about 20 or 30 kilometres to the north of Helsinki. And we're having a look at my first beer from Coolhead Brew. This one is the Hulk Juice, an 8% Imperial Double IPA, whatever you want to call it, and it's brewed in collaboration with Gama Brewing from Copenhagen in Denmark, very well known for their big hazy IPAs these days, and also Sudden Death Brewing, who come from a little place called Timmendorfer, Strand, quite close to Lübeck in Schleswig-Holstein in the northwest of Germany. The last beer I had from these guys was called What the Fudge, and that was a beautiful sweet stout, but these guys are another one of the numerous new wave of German craft brewers. So yeah, I think this one has a really interesting brewery combination, and hopefully it turns out to be another very nice beer. Massive shout out in this video of course to Riku from Oulu, who sent me this big box and arranged everything. This is one of the breweries that he really recommended, and thanks to him you are going to see a regular supply, if you like, of finished beers. I mean, I send him some money for these and he says he's quite happy to arrange boxes for me whenever I want, so we'll probably do this like twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, something like that. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, definitely nice to have a ready supply, if you like, of finished beers. So yeah, awesome stuff, and nice to return to Gama. Of course I review their beers quite regularly because they're from just over the water in Copenhagen, and Sudden Death seem to appear every so often over there as well, so I need to try and review something else from them fairly soon. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these guys put together. I'm excited to try it, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one as well. So as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries involved here before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Gama Brewing and from Sudden Death Brewing. This is also my very first review from Coolhead, so there'll be a link down there to my future reviews you'll see from them. There is one more beer in the Riku box that you'll see very soon. You can check out all the social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Finnish beers that I've reviewed for you, another one for all the Danish beers, and one for all the German beers. Those are being added to whenever I get the opportunity, and this beer will appear in all 3 because it is a tri-national beer. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then, and we'll kick off with the Finnish brewery, since these guys are the home brewery in this case. So Coolhead Brew, as I mentioned to you before, are based in Tuusula, which is about 30 kilometres or so to the north of Helsinki, and this company was founded back in 2014 by Kleber Gonçalves, who is originally from Brazil. So Kleber worked in the technology sector for a number of years for a few different companies. This took him to England and then to Finland, where he seems to have made his home. But he started planning the brewery in 2013, and then he officially established the company in 2014. They managed to get the production up and running in February of 2016, and they've been gradually building up the capacity of the brewery ever since. Today the brewery employ around 8 people, and they're brewing 180,000 litres of beer per year, and they're known for brewing a lot of fruit beers and sours and IPAs and things like this as well, but they also do some barrel aging. It's just a very kind of small scale production, this actually, but the brewery, when you look at the equipment and stuff they've got, it actually looks very nice. But as of April 2020 they've produced around 160 different beers, which you think in the space of like 4 years to brew about 40 beers a year, I think is pretty damn impressive actually. But yeah, Kleber is a very distinctive guy. He's got a lovely big kind of afro and things, and you can see some pictures of him and all the rest of the crew from Coolhead Brew if you go and check out the Facebook and Instagram and things like that. These guys are very active on social media, and they were quite active in showing them building up the brewery and being at all the beer festivals and things like that. So these guys do have a good presence on social media, and like I said to you, Riku told me this is definitely one of the Finnish breweries to watch actually. So yeah, definitely cool to have them on the channel for the first time. There wasn't too much information available on these guys, so that's all I can tell you for the moment. But if you want to learn more, of course, you can check out the brewery website, follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and of course you can check out the Rate Beer and Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about the 160 different beers that they've done. Pretty impressive, as I say, for a brewery who've only been around for 4 years. On to the Danish side of things then, Gama Brewing Company. So this is a brewery, as I say, that I've tried a lot of beers from these days. So Gama Brewing were founded back in 2015 by 4 friends in Copenhagen who had been bartenders in the various beer bars around the city, and basically they just used to talk about how it would be cool to have their own brewery, and little did they know it would come to fruition. So they took in another co-owner in the early days. So the team at the brewery are Jakob, Anders, Jesper, Koy and Nick, and they all had a little bit of home brewing experience, and 2 of them had worked for Ulsnedkeren in Copenhagen, who went on to purchase the former Stronzo brewery in Görløse, which is what went on to become Ölkollektivet, and there's a number of the kind of Copenhagen breweries brew their stuff up there. But apparently they were invited to join Ölkollektivet, and they got a very good deal on a 20 hectolitre tank, and they started the brewery without any experience of having run a business, and it really went very, very well for them. So they've expanded twice, and they're now producing in the region of 500 hectolitres of beer per year, exporting to England, Scotland, Germany, Netherlands, and also Sweden these days as well, and a few other countries I think too. And one of the co-owners of the Gama Brewing is also a co-owner of the May og Ulsnedkeren bar, which is over in Aarhus on Øland, the Danish mainland actually. But Ölkollektivet, where these guys brew, is home to Ulsnedkeren, Gama Brewing and Dry and Bitter, who are all very well respected within Danish craft beer circles. Ulsnedkeren also brewed the Bad Seed beers under contract for a little while before they got their own brewery. I believe they're up near Aalborg now, if I remember correctly. But also Ghost Brewing and Rooster used to brew beers in the Ölkollektivet facility, but they've since moved on to have their own premises. But as of April 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, Gama Brewing have produced in the region of 80 different beers, and you do tend to get 1 or 2 new beers from these guys every month actually, so they're definitely one of the Danish breweries that you need to check out. Dry and Bitter and Gama are probably 2 of the best IPA producers in Denmark at the moment, although there's other breweries such as Slow Burn and things like that up on the rise now. You've got the older guys like Amar Brøykhus who are still doing some very, very nice things. Mikkeller and Toul, of course, are kind of ramping things up at the moment as well with their expansions. So yeah, very good beer over in Copenhagen. As I've told you before, that's one of my favourite craft beer cities in the world. There really is some great, great stuff coming out of Copenhagen these days. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about Gama Brewing for the moment. Again, if you want to learn more about these guys, you can check out the brewery website, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that to keep up to date with the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer, Beer Advocate and Untappd pages to learn more about those 80 different beers that they've done. Mainly IPAs that these guys produce, but every so often you will get a few different things from them. The Fervent Fervour, if I remember the name correctly, was a lovely big imperial stout that I had from them quite recently. So yeah, mainly IPAs, but you will get a few other things in there as well. So yes, on to the German side of things then. So we do seem to be going from kind of north to south, if you like, with these breweries. So to the southernmost one then, to Germany. Sudden Death Brewing, as I mentioned to you earlier, are based in Timmendorfer Strand in Schleswig-Holstein, to the north of Lübeck in Germany. Very, very pretty city, as I said. But this company was started by 2 friends, Ricky Nagel and Oliver Schmockel. And both of these guys are big, big hockey enthusiasts. So they often used to travel to the US to watch hockey. Their favourite team was the Boston Bruins, and over there they encountered the various different kinds of IPAs and other American beer styles. But they soon became frustrated that they couldn't get these beers in Germany, so they decided to start a home brewing business, and then Ollie soon trained as a beer sommelier as well. So the pair have continued to develop their recipes on a small 50-litre brewing kit, and then they used gypsy brewing to brew their beers on the larger scale. And get their beers out there, of course. But as of April 2020, these guys have produced around 30 different types of beer. There's lots of different styles in there. The one that I tried, the What the Fudge, was a beautiful kind of sweet stout. They've got IPAs in there, and they've also got some kind of fruity sours like Goses and things like that as well. They seem to have a bit of a collaboration with Wizard Brewing, who are up in Gothenburg. at the moment too. When I looked on their web shop earlier, they were selling some of the Wizard beers, which was pretty cool. So yeah, another one of these new wave German craft brewers. There's lots of these in Germany at the moment. The first ones I encountered, you know, were the likes of you know, Yankee and Kraut and things like that. Of course, you can check out my good friend Peter at the Clueless Drinker, who reviewed a lot of these new wave German craft beers back in the day. But you know, there's a lot of breweries now in Germany starting to have a go at brewing the American styles of beer, and it's really interesting because you get these brewers who are obviously trained in the very traditional styles of brewing German beer, and they start having a go at these different things, and it always turns out very, very nicely actually. So very, very exciting things in the beer scene in Germany at the moment. Even some of the very traditional brewers, from what my friend Daniel tells me, who he's been on the channel before, from what Daniel tells me, the you know, that even some of the traditional brewers, they're starting to brew styles in their pubs that they would never have tried before, because obviously beer in Germany was very, very regional. But yeah, get yourself to Germany and try some of these new wave craft beers, and of course enjoy all the old traditional stuff as well, because German beer is really pretty damn good. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Sudden Death Brewing for the moment. If you want to learn more about these guys, again, you can check out the brewery website, follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer and Untappd pages to learn more about the different beers that these guys have done, all 30 of them so far. But a German gypsy brewer, and hopefully we see them get their own brewery at some point in the fairly near future. But yeah, that's all the breweries covered then. We can actually get on and have a taste of this beer then. This is always the thing with the collaboration beers. The history part of the video does tend to be a little bit longer. But as you can see, this beer is really, really nicely presented. Hulk juice, you can see the green anger there from the Incredible Hulk. Of course, there are the three brewery symbols. You can see Coolhead, Sudden Death and Gama. Of course, the Sudden Death one is a reference to the fact that Ollie and Ricky both really like their hockey. It says on the side here, Coolhead, Gama and Sudden Death Brewing Hulk Juice, a hazy double IPA brewed in collaboration with Gama Brewing from Denmark and Sudden Death Brewing from Germany. Double dry hopped with Victoria's Secret, Citra, Mosaic and Galaxy, and fermented with Voss Kveik yeast. So this one I think will be very, very interesting, and apparently it's suitable for vegans as well. But yeah, little 330ml can, this one, 8% double IPA, and it should be very, very nice. So yeah, let's get this guy out then and we will get on with the tasting. I'm very curious to see what this beer has in store for us. I think it will be very, very nice. So, oh yeah, you can smell straight away with this one. You can smell with this is going to be an absolute monster. So yeah, look at that. So the hops in this beer, as I say, Victoria's Secret and Galaxy, these are kind of quite similar hops. A lot of passion fruit and things in there. Good little bit of kind of pineapple and other tropical fruit complexities. Citra we know is mainly mango, but again you've got complexities to that. And then Mosaic is a kind of sort of tangerine orange side of things. So 2 American hops and 2 Australian ones in this, and a lovely little 330ml can. So yeah, as you could see, there was about a half finger of a frothy kind of bumpy white head on this one. But yeah, that's just faded away to be a very, very thin kind of foamy layer. This beer itself, I would say this one leans definitely towards the yellow end of the spectrum in terms of the New England IPAs. At 8%, of course, this one is pretty damn hazy. As you go up the alcohol scale with the New England IPAs, they get hazier and hazier and hazier, more oats, more wheat and everything, which of course are the parts of the malt base that give you the majority of the haze. But yeah, this one looks very nice. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. You can feel a few little ones going up towards the bottom of where the head was on this one. But in terms of a double New England IPA, there's nothing particularly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance, though definitely on the yellow end of the scale, which I think is quite nice. So yeah, I think this one will be a little bit of a monster. Nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance. Let's have a look at the aroma then and see how we get on. This I think will be awesome. Oh yeah, straight away with this beer, it smells really, really nice. You can definitely get that farmhousey type note from the Kveik yeast in this. You know, if you compare these to the likes of the Lallemand yeasts and the other Vermont strains that you get, I can't remember the names of them, of course. Alchemist Brewing over in Vermont are the ones that you would compare these to, of course. I'm not sure if if Lallemand and Alchemist are related, of course. Do let me know in the comment section below if you know better. But the you know, these Lallemand yeast, they've always got this kind of woody, vegetally, herbal sort of thing to them. They have that real farmhousey quality. The Kveik yeasts are kind of different because they do have a little bit of a kind of fruity note to them as well, which is quite interesting. But as soon as you smell this beer, it's actually very well balanced between the more kind of oaty and wheaty notes, the wheaty bitiness and the oaty creaminess that you would expect of a kind of more like a modern New England IPA, but you've also got that kind of nice farmhousey element to it as well. And you know, I'm not sure how much these Kveik IPAs are going to take off. You know, people were thinking, oh, this will be the next thing. We had the Brut IPAs come in and they've gone. The black IPAs are making a bit of a comeback. The West Coast are starting to make a bit of a comeback as well. I do wonder how, if the Kveik IPAs might well be the next thing, or if the New Englands are really the ones that are here to stay. But yeah, you know, you can really smell a good balance in this beer. You've got the oaty creaminess in there. You've definitely got a bit of a biscuity sweetness as well, that McVitie's digestive biscuity sort of thing, and some of the bitier wheat. But then underneath that, and when you first smell it, you get those typical kind of farmhousey notes out of the beer. You've got a little bit of a kind of woody, herbally sort of thing. You've got a wee bit of a kind of grainy, spicy character in there as well. And you know, you've also got a little bit of that, you know, kind of herbally, vegetally kind of thing too, which is quite interesting. The farmhouse yeast, I've always found with some of these kind of more farmhousey beers, they can smell like your food recycle thing that you have, that you put the vegetable peelings and stuff into. Some of them can really smell like that. Like I remember Ecotide from Oslo in Norway, their beers, they always smell really, really weird, but they actually tend to taste very, very nice. But this one is definitely more like a kind of, you've got the kind of farmhousey stuff in the background, but then the kind of stuff that you'd be more used to from a New England IPA, it really, really starts to kind of take over actually. So yeah, I like how that goes together in this one. A lovely, I'd say on the wheaty, I'd say this one leans a little bit towards the wheat, but you do get the oaty creaminess and the biscuity notes out of this too. But then you can feel, you can smell, if you go a bit further away from it, you get the herbally, vegetally kind of things from the Voss yeast in here, the Kveik yeast. It smells very, very nice actually. The malty base, the yeasty qualities in this are very, very nice. On the hoppy side of things then, nice little bit of a kind of floral aromaticity to the beer. I'd say this one is quite floral. All of the hops in this are quite high in alpha acid content. You know, I think Citra is like 11 or 12 if I remember right. Mosaic is like 14. I think Galaxy sits around the 13-14% as well. I've got a feeling Victoria's Secret might be around 10. I think it's a little bit less actually. But yeah, the fruity, the hoppy side of this is very, very nice. I'd say it leans towards the floral side of things. You do have a little bit of grassiness in there. You can pick up a few little earthy notes from the Mosaic as well. It will give you a little bit of an earthiness. But yeah, the green side of the hops for me, it does lean towards the floral end of the spectrum, which is quite nice. On the fruity side of things, it's pretty much what you'd expect. You've got a good bit of that kind of darker, stronger passion fruity note in there. That's coming both from the Victoria's Secret and from the Galaxy. You know, the Galaxy is the kind of bigger brother of the Victoria's Secret, if you like. They're both, from what I remember, they're always quite similar in terms of their flavour and aroma profile. A lot of passion fruit and usually a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y sort of thing as well. But the Citra will contribute to the passion fruity notes in this beer as well. Yeah, so you have got a bit of that juicy mango from the Citra. You can get a wee bit of that kind of apricot-y papaya type complexity, maybe a little bit of pineapple in there too. I don't get so much in the way of orange from this one. You would normally get a bit of a kind of tangerine note from the you would normally get a little bit of a tangerine note from the Mosaic, but it's kind of hard to detect. I mean, you do get a little bit of it at the front of the nose, but I think the strength of the passion fruit in this one kind of drowns it out a little bit, and you've got these other tropical fruit complexities. I mean, it's quite hard. I think the Mosaic kind of gets lost a little bit in that, but it will come out in the flavour, because the orangey flavours I always find, the tangerine notes are always just that little bit more oily. But in terms of its fruity side aroma, quite a bit of passion fruit, nice little bit of mango in there. You have got some of these lighter tropical fruits like papayas, apricots, and a bit of pineapple notes in there. But I think the sort of tangerine orange that you would expect from the Mosaic does you know, fade into the background a little bit. And you're not, with this one, there is maybe a teeny little bit of the gooseberry note. That's one of these kind of complexities you can get from Citra, but it's very minimal. You really have to search for that. Sometimes Citra can give you a little bit of a kind of gooseberry lychee sort of thing as well. You can sometimes get a little bit of a lemon limey quality out of Citra as well, but this one really is more tropical, passion fruity, softer tropical fruits, and a little bit of a kind of as I say, a little bit, just mainly these, it's mainly a tropical fruit IPA, this one. So yeah, really interesting how all of this goes together. So lots of different things to take in the aroma, quite floral, this one overall, nice kind of tropical fruit note, and then a good balance between the kind of wheat and the oats, and then the Kveik yeast in this one. There's a good bit of stuff to take in with this beer, so definitely take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one then. This one is the Hulk Juice, a collaboration between Coolhead from Finland, Gama from Denmark, and Sudden Death from Germany. So let's have a taste of this one. Slange, Skål, Prost, Keepis. Cheers, and thank you to Riku for this one. Yeah, that's pretty damn good, I have to say. You know, it's a really damn good beer, this one. I mean, you know, over the years on the channel, I've reviewed beers from all across Europe, and I really think it's very encouraging. You know, when you go to different countries, the two beers that I've had from Finland so far, the West Coast IPA from up in Oulu, and then the New England one from over near Turku as well, and now we're in Helsinki. We're going round and round Finland actually. You know, that shows you the Finnish craft beer scene is pretty damn strong, but I mean, it's not surprising because they've had the same, you know, their alcohol laws have been strict. It's very much kind of similar to what's happened in Sweden. A strong homebrewing culture has developed, and it's been there for years, so it's not surprising that the guys who are actually starting their breweries tend to be pretty damn good at it. Obviously this one's a bit different because Kleber is from Brazil originally, but he's been in Finland for quite a wee while. But yeah, you know, it's not surprising that the home brewing culture really is kind of spilling out and things like that. You know, the Finnish beer scene, I think, has got very good times ahead of it. It just needs to basically catch up to the other ones and get the breweries being a little bit more well known and stuff like this. So yeah, it's always cool to go to new countries and try beers. I've had this before, you know, the Greek beers I was very impressed with. The Slovenian beers that Davor sent me were awesome. You know, you're seeing good things coming out of different places in Spain, Italy and stuff like this. There's some really good craft beers all across Europe these days. Poland as well, Estonia. You know, the standard craft beer in Europe is great. I've been lucky enough to try the likes of the Trilliums and the Treehouses and things like that from America, and you know, the European breweries are most definitely on the same level as the American ones in my mind. There's really there's not really any difference, I think, between the European and the American breweries these days. So it's cool to find another country in Europe where they're producing some awesome beers. Gama I already knew are very capable in this style. Sudden Death, this is again my first encounter with a lighter beer from them, but I've heard good things about their IPAs as well. But this is a beautiful IPA, this one, and it's definitely nice to find another very good producer in Finland. So yeah, great times ahead for Finland, and of course Germany and Denmark we know are very good when it comes to beer already. So yeah, this one gets a thumbs up from me. If you get the chance to try this, I think you will enjoy this. If you like what Gama do normally, you know, you will enjoy this beer. So yeah, let's break this one down then and see how we get on. So straight away with this beer, you feel that nice kind of pale malty quality, that blankets the middle of your tongue. When you go towards the back of the palate, you start to get more of the bitey, kind of wheaty notes out of it. Then as you move further forward, the back third of the tongue is quite wheaty and bitey. Then as you move into the middle third of your tongue, you can feel there is a bit of biscuity sweetness kind of sitting on the top, but then underneath, I think that's where you start to get some of the kind of Kveiky type notes out of this one. It's got a little bit of that kind of woody, grainy type note to it, which is interesting. Then as you reach the front part of that second third of your tongue, that's when you get some of the oaty creaminess out of this one. You can taste the booziness in this beer. I've always said with New England IPAs, I think once you start to go above 8%, these beers, they start to struggle to cover the alcohol content unless you add a little bit of biscuit malt or caramel or something like this. And that's something, you know, that's a problem you would never encounter with the West Coast IPAs. But it is, I've found that there are breweries who are finding different ways around this, like Other Half and things. But this one, as a New England IPA, this one at 8%, actually I think this one feels quite strong and boozy. You can tell with this beer, it's got a nice little bite to it actually, which is nice. If you're going to drink a double IPA, you want to know that it's a double IPA. You don't want it to be kind of too subtle, if you like. But yeah, this is really nice. I mean, you can feel with this beer as well the kind of cleanliness of the water. They were saying, Coolhead were saying that their water source apparently is regarded as one of the purest in the world. And you know, I'm as a Scot, I'm quite sensitive to that, obviously, because of Scotch whisky and things like that. And you do notice with the beers from the north of Sweden as well, you get really good water. Those, I first noticed it with the Icelandic beers as well, like when I was reviewing those years ago. You know, the quality of stuff that you get from up there is very, very nice. But yeah, this beer is really pretty damn good, I have to say. It gets a massive thumbs up from me, this one. You can really feel it's a very clean but very big and bitey and boozy IPA, this one, in my mind. That's my alarm going off. It's annoying, that always does that. But yeah, it's just a big boozy bitey double IPA, this one. I really like how this goes together. So yeah, as I say, in the middle of the palate, the way the malt base goes together in this one is really quite nice actually. So it gives you that big boozy kind of hit that you want from the IPA. It doesn't do anything kind of overly surprising, but it's just got everything you would want from the style. I like how it's got the kind of biscuity sweetness on the top, and then you just get these subtleties from the Kvike yeast underneath. I think the Kvike is quite reserved in this. You do get a little bit of the woody notes towards the back of the palate sitting in with the wheat. It's not quite as vegetally and herbal as some of the other ones that I've come across, but it does have just a wee bit of that almost like peppery type spice actually that you can sometimes get from these yeasts. But yeah, very straight up in its malt based and yeasty qualities, and everything else kind of matches it very nicely. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, you do get a little bit of earthiness out of it, which is great. So yeah, you do get a little bit of that kind of herbal, sorry, not herbal, you do get a bit of that darker earthiness, which will be from the mosaic in there. But as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, this one is very, very floral, and it's not quite spicy, but you can feel the big kind of floral, zesty kind of notes out of this one on the side of the palate. It's almost got a little bit of that kind of minty freshness to it actually, but you really feel these big floral notes along the sides of the palate. And as you reach the front corners of the tongue, it is quite nice, but as you go round the front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy, and then that kind of zestiness sort of goes round the front of the palate too. And then behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where the big fruity, juicy esters come out of the beer. And I will say this one does kind of give you a good kick in the balls when it comes to the fruity side of things. So yeah, where to start with the fruity side of things? Again, the fruitiness in this beer, it feels very, very clean, I suspect, because of the water. This beer, it really feels very, very slick actually. This one, this is definitely not the thickest and creamiest, well it is quite thick in fairness, but it's not the creamiest of IPAs, of New England IPAs that you're going to come across, and I suspect that's the water in this one. But yeah, if you go to the back of that oily bubble at the front of your palate where the fruity esters come out, you really get a lot of passion fruit out of this one. It's very, very strong, but I mean, if you've got Galaxy and you've got Victoria's Secret in there, and Citra's going to contribute a wee bit of grapefruit to it, having those darker, kind of stronger, those stronger tropical fruit notes out of the beer, that's not surprising. Having the darker fruits in there is really, really quite nice. But as you come further forward, you can feel there's a bit more of a mangoey quality evolves. That's the Citra coming out. You start to get these kind of apricot-y, kind of papaya type notes out of the beer, but you also get the you do start to get a little bit, you can pick up a little bit of the kind of tangerine-y the sort of tangerine note from the mosaic there, but again it's quite minimal. I think the tropical fruits really dominate the flavour of this one. Yeah, like when you first take the beer in, and if you pay attention to the front of the palate, you get the tangerine oranges then, but then you'll feel the tangerine oranges sit there and they're juicy and juicy and juicy. Then the front part of your palate almost it sort of rolls back a little bit, and then the tropical fruits, the kind of stronger, more sour tropical fruits, just push their way out a bit more, and the kind of orangey note almost just sits behind the very kind of front tip of your tongue, and you get the zestiness on the front edge of your palate, and these more strong tropical fruits just coming out behind it. As I say, you start with a strong passion fruit, you've got a wee bit of grapefruit in there, then mangoes, then some of these kind of, a little bit of the lighter tropical fruits. You get a wee bit of pineapple in as you go further into the aftertaste, but then you've also got a wee bit of the tangerine orangey kind of note sitting there, and then, as I say, you reach the very edge of the palate, and you've got that kind of grassy, zesty type quality in there. So for me, quite a strong, tropical fruity double IPA in my mind. I like how this all goes together. So yeah, really interesting double IPA, this one. In terms of its flavour profile, if you like the sort of things you're getting from Gama already, which is probably the best reference point that we have for this beer, because Gama are probably the most widely distributed out of the 3 breweries involved here. If you like the Gama beers, I think you will quite like this one. This one just feels a lot more clean and a lot more slick, if you like. It's not the creamiest of New England IPAs that you're going to come across. So on that note, I think we should move to the mouthfeel. So for me, this beer, I'd say that it's the top end of mid-bodied. This one I don't think it's quite full-bodied. It feels very clean, very wet mouthfeel, good little bit of oiliness out of it, which is interesting. As I say, it's the thing that really sticks out about the mouthfeel for me is just the slickness, the cleanliness of the water that's in here. In terms of the hoppy bitterness, I think you're talking about 50, maybe 60 IBUs with this one. Does it actually say on the can what the IBUs are? Some of them do. This one, I don't think it does. No, but I reckon this one's got a good bit of bitterness to it. I would think 50 IBUs to this one. There is a good bit of that kind of resin. It might even be 60 IBUs, somewhere in that kind of region. So a good bit of that kind of hoppy bitterness around the edge of the palate. The malt base, like I say, you've got a bit of sweetness in it, but you've also got a bit of smoothness. This bit of sweetness comes further forward, but it leans towards that bitey, kind of spicy end of the spectrum in the New England IPA. It's more like a Trillium rather than like a kind of more like a wheaty, bitey Trillium rather than a smoother, creamy, sort of Treehouse or a more farmhousey Alchemist. It's more in that kind of Trillium type New England IPA bracket, but that really suits it actually. It's well balanced in that regard. The sort of bitiness that you get from the wheaty and the Kveik yeast notes in this one, even though the Kveik is quite subtle, that gives a good balance to the kind of big floral notes that the beer has, and the strength of the tropical fruits as well. It gives the beer like a really pungent flavour overall, and I think that's very nice. The fruitiness in this one, as I say, it feels quite wet, but it's got quite a pungent fruity character to it as well. But overall, it's a really very nice beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to try this one. So definitely cool to introduce Coolhead to you for the first time on the channel, and nice to have another beer involving Gama and Sudden Death. They've pulled off a really nice one, this, and I could see why Riku was saying that I should really try this beer. This has been an awesome one to review, and as good as the regular beers that you'll find from Gama as well. So yeah, check this one out if you get the chance. I don't know how widely this beer will make it across Europe, but it does deserve a little bit of a recognition, so I hope that Coolhead keep producing this one. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how their IPAs from Coolhead go in the future as well, and I do need to review more from Sudden Death. You will obviously see Gama quite regularly on the channel over the future. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one was the Hulk Juice, an 8% New England double IPA from Coolhead in Finland, Gama Brewing in Denmark, and then Sudden Death Brewing from Germany. A really interesting beer, this one, and I'm glad I was able to review it for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Hulk Juice double New England IPA, 8% from Coolhead in Finland, Gama in Denmark, and Sudden Death in Germany. Slanja, skål, keep us, and prost. Cheers.